What the fuck?
Action.
All right, everyone. So over here, but we gotta take.
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Kiari Moon,
And I'm Derion Lewis.
and welcome back to another episode of Like It Is.
On today's episode, we're gonna be making gumbo my way. Let's get to it.
Let's go.
We've got a long way to go. Oh, and there's no going back to like it is, the life we used to know.
All right, everyone. So over here, I have laid out all of my ingredients. Starting with my meats, I have chicken, shrimp, sausage, and crawfish. Crawfish tails, that is. And then I have a little real crab meat, which came in this can here. Now, the meats that I use, all gumbos aren't the same. You can put whatever meat you like in your gumbo, but these are the meats I'm going to use for my gumbo. All right, going back here, I have vegetable oil as well as flour, which is the key ingredients to any gumbo. That gives you your roux. I'll give you the measurements that I'm gonna use for my gumbo here today. All right, then we're gonna move up here to our veggies. We have the Holy Trinity, which is celery, bell pepper, and onion. And then I also have here some okra, which I'll add into the gumbo later on down the line. And this okra was actually homegrown by yours truly, Derion.
All right.
And then for our broth, we're gonna use chicken broth. And then all of my seasoning, I have something simple as ground black pepper and salt. And then I'm gonna go in with an all-purpose seasoning, some Cajun seasoning, all-purpose Creole seasoning, a little cayenne, and then again, for my gumbo, I like to add in the gumbo fowl. It gives it that gumbo kick to me. It's what I like to put in my gumbo. All right, first we're gonna start with cooking all of our meats. I'm gonna start with my chicken. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, in my pan that I'm cooking with, I'm just gonna drizzle a little olive oil, as well as a little butter. Now you can use regular butter, actual butter, but I'm just gonna use a little bit of the spray butter. And I'm gonna put my eye on about medium. So I'm gonna go with 6 on my stove, right? All right, then the seasonings I'm gonna use is the ones that I just explained to you. I'm gonna use my Creole for my chicken. And I'm gonna season both sides of my all of my meats. I'm going with a little bit of that all-purpose seasoning. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of this Cajun, a dash of the cayenne pepper, and then I'm gonna hit it with a little salt and pepper. Now keep in mind, all of these seasonings are gonna go in your gumbo, but most of your seasoning is gonna come from your meat. So it may look like I'm putting a lot of seasoning on it, but I'm not gonna add all of this seasoning into my gumbo until I taste it first, right? So taste as you go. I'm gonna season both sides of my chicken with the same seasonings. Now I'm doing it with these seasonings, right? Think about it like a crab boil. Everybody's crab boil isn't the same, so the same with the seasonings. You don't have to use the exact seasonings that I use. These are just the seasonings that I like, that has grown on me since I've been cooking, right? All right, and once we get done seasoning these, we're gonna go straight into the pan with them. And we're pretty much gonna pan sear them till they're done, and then we'll set them to the side and go on to our next meat. And I'm using all the same seasoning for all of my meats. All right, so zoom in on this. So that's my chicken. It's seasoned very well. And I'm gonna drop it in the pan just like that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and drop my chicken into the pan. We all know that chicken has to be actually well done. Now again, you can cook your chicken well done here if you like, or you can just get a good sear on both sides, because your chicken is gonna go back into your actual mixture of gumbo, so it's gonna have time to finish actually cooking. Me, I like to go ahead and get mine completely done. You can't really overcook chicken. I mean, you can, but it's very hard to. All right, so I'm taking my chicken up. I'm gonna let that sit to the side and cool. And now I'm about to drop my shrimp into that same pan. I'm gonna leave all the flavor right here. And we all know that shrimp don't take long, so we're gonna go with I'm gonna say about a minute and a half on each side. Again, because the shrimp is gonna be dropped back into our actual main dish of gumbo, so it's gonna cook a little more. So just now I'm just getting a good sear on both sides. Can't have a good gumbo without rice. Rice is like gumbo's best friend, you know? So we got a little rice going. And then we're also gonna have like a little side of cornbread. All right, I'm taking my shrimp out. They're done now. And then right behind the shrimp, I'm gonna go in with my sausage. So I didn't season my sausage. Again, that's my cool down plate because I'm gonna chop that up. Turn my eye down just a little bit. May add me a little more olive oil.
But you're keeping everything in the same.
Everything in the same pan.
Same pan. Okay.
I'm not gonna cook my actual gumbo in here, but the meat will pick up the seasoning.
Right.
The seasoning that's already in here, especially like my sausage, because I didn't season my sausage.
What type of sausage?
So these are just like a sunset, I think it is, sausage. All right, now my sausages are done. I just like browned those on both sides, right? And I'm putting those to the side. As you can see in the back here, I have chopped up my chicken and my shrimp, which is gonna go inside the gumbo, along with the sausage and my other two meats, the crawfish and the crab meat. So what I'm gonna do with this right here, right? I'm gonna leave this pan here because I'm gonna use this grease and flavor, meat flavors in the bottom, right? Because some of the meat has fallen off in the pot along with the seasoning for a later process.
You look different too.
Oh yeah, I grew my hair out for the first time ever. My hair has never been grown out except for one time when I had a mohawk, but all over it's never been grown out. So
I think that was the picture I seen when you first. Yeah, it looks really, really good.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, it looks really, really good.
So yeah, this is me with hair.
With hair, okay.
All right, but directly behind all of my meat, I guess I can go ahead and show y'all now. I'm gonna go in that same pot using the same oil and stuff. I didn't add any more. And I'm gonna go ahead and fry my okra. Now, okra in gumbo, I've seen it done many ways, but I like to cook my okra. And I've seen it just drop in the broth once that comes together.
Well, I guess it's preference, right?
Yeah, it's just preference. But me personally, because I'm not a slime lover of the okra, so I like to cook mine just until it's not like too slimy. So I just cook it down pretty much, and then I'll set that off to the side until it's ready to go inside of my gumbo.
I guess you need to say like you cook the slime out of it.
Yes, I cook it right before it's like all the way dried out because okra helps your gumbo thicken in a sense, if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
Cause like if you cook all the slime out, it won't really do that. But I'm gonna cook mine like down a little bit so it's not too slimy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll set that off to the side.
And this is the okra that you.
Yeah, this is the okra that I actually personally grow. Homegrown.
Homegrown okra.
Yes. All right, everyone. So my okra is done. I put it off to the side like I've done all of my meats. So I didn't cook it like too done, but it's done enough for my liking. All right, now we're gonna get to where the rubber meets the road for any gumbo, the roux. The roux is what makes any gumbo come together. So for my gumbo this week, or this time rather, I'm only cooking my gumbo, if I haven't told you all, for about 4 people. So it's not gonna be too much. But for any gumbo, depending on how many people you're cooking for, depends on how much meat or how much of roux you need. For me, I'm gonna use equal part. When I say equal part, that means the same flour and the same oil. So for this one, I'm gonna do a cup of flour. And I put my flour in first, but my eye is not on because, hey, that'll burn up, right? And then I'm gonna do a cup of oil, vegetable oil. So again, equal parts just mean the same for these two. So if you do 2 cups, equal part, you'll do 2 cups flour, 2 cups oil. Just about a cup. And I'm gonna go in right on top of this flour with that. All right, now for your roux, you do not want to burn your roux. That will mess up your gumbo, right? So yeah, it'll mess up the flavor and everything. So you want to get a smooth, consistent stir on your roux. So you have to keep stirring this. Now, depending on how experienced you are with cooking, you could probably like turn up your eye and like do a little more stirring than needed, or you can turn it down if you're not that experienced. But this is what makes your gumbo come together, and you want to get this down to a as dark as you like, or you would like your gumbo to look, right? So in essence, you are burning flour with grease, but you don't want to actually like burn it. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna darken as it cooks. For me, being that I'm a little experienced, I'm gonna turn mine up to about 6, 7, and then I'm just gonna keep stirring until it gets to the color that I prefer for my gumbo. All right, now my roux has gotten to a dark consistency, almost the consistency, or the color rather, that I like. The consistency is more so like how thick or thin it is. But right now it looks very thin only because it's oil that's very hot, right? So I have been stirring for about 20, 25 minutes.
About an hour. No,
Yeah, it feels like it, man. Look, I've been switching hands and everything, right? Left, right, left. All right, but no, once I first turned it on, I had it on about 6 or 8. Got my grease and my flour really, really hot. My roux, I'm gonna call it roux. But I got it really hot, and once it got really hot, I turned it down to like 2 low because it like was cooking very fast. But I had to continue stirring. So once you get your grease hot, turn it down low and just continue to stir. It'll get brown. It'll get brown.
Right.
All right. So I think this is good enough for my liking right here. Right. It's a pretty dark consistency. I'm gonna go in with my Holy Trinity right on top of this roux. All right. Again, I'm keeping it down at 2 right now, pretty low. And as you see, when it go in, it's pretty much like starting to fry. And then I'm gonna cook my veggies, my Holy Trinity, down a bit before I go in with my next ingredient. We'll be right back.
It smells so good.
All right, now my roux and my veggies are combined, the Holy Trinity. Now my roux has continued to darken, right? While I'm stirring. So I'm studying keeping that continuous stir on it. And then now, I'm finna go in with my chicken broth. My chicken broth is pretty much gonna be my broth, exactly what it is, right? To make the gumbo. I'm going straight in with my chicken broth. So this is gonna slow down the cooking process, right? Because it's cold. It's cooling down my pot. I'm using 2. And again, if you don't have all chicken broth, you could use water. But I just like the flavor with the chicken broth. Now, for the meats that I have already cooked, right? I'm gonna wait till this comes back to a boil right before it does the hard boil, and I'm gonna add all of my meats in. And then right before we do that, we're gonna show you all.
Okay, so we have 2 questions online, Derion, pertaining to gumbo. Number 1.
All right, let's hear it.
What is the desired consistency of gumbo if there is any universal agreed upon consistency?
Okay, I don't think there's a universal agreement for the consistency, but me personally, because when I first started eating gumbo, it was like this, but I like a thicker consistency. I don't know why, but I guess it leads more so back to me like my first time having gumbo. But I've seen it more times than not, more soupy or water-based consistency.
Okay, well, I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take that. I like that. Good answer, like this.
Right.
Good answer, good answer. All right, so next question. Is gumbo usually tomato-based or really depends on the recipe or like where you're from?
Since I've had gumbo and since I've been making it, I have never heard of a tomato-based gumbo. I have never seen anyone do it, or maybe I haven't done enough research, but I have never seen it. No tomato-based anything for gumbo.
All right, so that's it, y'all. Thank y'all for the questions online.
Thank y'all.
And let's get back to cooking.
Let's go.
All right.
I'm gonna go back in with all my chicken, and then to follow, I'll go in with all of my sausage.
All right, now it's time to taste.
The best part of the day.
He's really, really happy.
Really excited.
This is your favorite part.
It's his favorite part too, y'all. Don't
Yeah,
let
it
me
is
fool
my
y'all.
favorite part too.
Behind the scenes, he'll like, oh, hurry up, please, hurry up.
Here we go.
I'm done. I did it again. Yo, this
Yeah.
is shine. You get hurt.
This is off the chain.
This is really.
Oh, almost forgot. I'm getting so carried away with this gumbo. Look, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up down below. Also, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. Ding, ding. And click that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. I love you for watching. See you in the next one.
Like it is the life we used to know.